Before I start, I just want to clarify that for the purpose of this video, I am using TV as a generic term to include streaming services, because let's face it, our Amazon Primes, Netflix, Hulu, Disney, etc. are the new TV. Even traditional TV channels have an online and streaming version, because otherwise hardly anybody would watch them these days. So let's start with TV and the rise in popularity of ghost hunting and paranormal TV shows. Now, I'm not saying that this is where everything started, but in the way that we see ghost hunting content now, the starting point I'm choosing for television is 1992. It's Halloween and it's the UK. The BBC presents a one-off special called Ghost Watch. It's pre-recorded, but it is aired as a live investigation. It is broadcast as real. 1 million phone calls were made to the BBC in complaints and praise. It was never repeated in the UK, but repeated internationally. The show used well-known British celebrities as its stars, including legendary interviewer Michael Parkinson, who added credibility to the facade. 11 million people tuned in. One of the after effects of the show, where some people found it so disturbing, was it led to a teenager unaliving himself. 10 years later, Most Haunted appeared on the screens. Presented as real, indeed still being presented as real.
We guarantee no tricks, no camera illusions, and no practical jokes. If we find nothing, then you'll see nothing.
Most Haunted aired until 2010. But Carl Beatty and Yvette Fielding retained the rights to the franchise. It crossed over onto other platforms, onto other channels, then eventually onto YouTube. It's still claiming to be legitimate, despite being debunked multiple times by debunking channels, pretty much proving otherwise. In the US, we have Ghost Hunters in 2004 to 2016, fronted by Jason Hawes and Grant Wilson, who founded the Taps in 1995. The show had some of the highest ratings on the reality side of the Sci-Fi Channel. Hawes is now also on YouTube. Ghost Adventures 2008, still running on the Discovery Channel, fronted by Zach Bagans, consistent audience figures over the seasons, not on YouTube. The popularity of these and other shows made the rise in ghost hunting videos on YouTube inevitable. Those channels who grew massively in popularity and started earning more and more money then paved the way to reinforce the potential of earning big on the platform, with drama, jump scares, misdirection, and outright fakery. This led to the rise of the debunkers in the last 5 years, the calling out of fake and questionable investigations. So the relationship between the TV and YouTube paranormal content is sometimes fractured and other times just non-existent. What they leave behind, going from TV to YouTube, is a certain amount of protection. It's not impossible to react to TV shows, but it is a treacherous undertaking. Copyright claims and strikes are more often than not used against debunkers and reactors who use the footage, even with fair use in place. Many of the streaming services, studios and production companies have the power and money to follow through with copyright threats. As a result of this, only a small proportion of TV paranormal is called out by the debunking community, which helps TV to maintain its illusions of legitimacy. On YouTube, most channels under the microscope are fair game. This is why when TV does cross over to YouTube, for example Most Haunted, Jason Hawes, they find themselves in a different place, where criticism is part of the environment. Those wanting to be on TV and seeing themselves as being worthy on television kick and scream loudly against the critics. I had a run-in with Danny Moss of My Haunted Hotel earlier in the year after reacting to a live stream where he insulted the platform and talked about going over to TV. Too good for YouTube. I believe that TV networks have said this. As a champion of independent production, what I would like to see is more and more channels improving the production quality, regardless of the platform. However, TV networks will exhibit this attitude of YouTube content being of a lower quality to keep the line drawn in the sand that cannot be crossed by either direction. This is TV hiding and putting up the defences, fingers in their ears, refusing to acknowledge the big bad YouTube's inferior brands. But as I have said, I have long championed independent creators and producers. I have been involved in fan-based magazines for over 30 years. I have run online forums for well over 20 years. And the only thing I've never fully engaged with was building websites. I found them impersonal, not enough connection with the audience. This is where YouTube shines. If you have an account, you have a channel. It is free. Yes, it is hard work to do it to the point of gaining subs and monetization. Very few YouTubers, very few, are full-time. This is why a passion for the subject is of the utmost importance, and it is also why it attracts viewers who are generally as interested and as passionate even as the content creator. Why is this important for YouTube? Because TV cannot rely upon this dynamic, and it rarely achieves this dynamic. By its very nature, most TV or streaming service is distant from the viewer. People watch TV shows, no comment section, no chat, unless there's maybe an online forum for it. But it's still very impersonal. TV controls the narrative. It is one of the ultimate platforms for clicks and views because without audience figures, it fails. I am not going to suggest that TV audiences do not include people interested in the paranormal, but the way TV works is people will watch a series and then move on to the next series. The attention will be held for the 30 to 60 minutes of view time. Most will move on until the next episode. There is also a limited amount of content to choose from, all, in one way or another, putting viewing figures first. If an investigator or team want to go to the world of TV, then generally the world of TV dictates the content. Viewers have to remain engaged. It's easier to fall down the rabbit hole of exploring paranormal content on YouTube. The downside of this is the amount of fakery and poor investigation techniques. This is where the debunking community is a relatively young phenomenon of around 5 years, seeking to guide the audience in regards to what to look for. It's not perfect. Neither is YouTube. And yes, you are watching a YouTube channel present this argument. However, the phrase of too good for YouTube is far more problematic than it first appears. Yes, high-tech equipment costs money, but good intentions are free. And at least the start of researching subjects is also free. So some channels may look rough and ready to begin with, but if they are serious about their content, they will learn to grow. They don't have to do it in a limited number of episodes. They have immediate contact and feedback from their audience, many of whom share a similar interest in the subject of the paranormal. You don't have to have a YouTube channel to get involved, and this is something I will address later. And don't dismiss YouTube paranormal as 100% fake. Sail the choppy waters to find those genuinely passionate about the subject. Even use what you learn to take with you when watching TV or streaming services. Question everything, but delve into the paranormal content with both personal beliefs and healthy skepticism. This balance is crucial for all involved: TV, YouTube, magazines, books, websites, and audiences. Don't forget, not everyone tells the truth, but at the same time, not everyone is fake.